Here we go. Into grand finals. The first of potentially 2 games in our grand final set here. Fancy Cloud Dancers, coming from winner's bracket, will have to win 1 game to take the tournament. Skyborne Z, their opponents, will have to win 2. First off, for Fancy Cloud Dancers, we have the Fancy Hydra, Mercury Modulo, Dual Artemis on the lower deck, Hades and Gatling, triple piercing loadout. Their ally, the Gizmo Duck, Gatling, Dual Artemis on the left side, Light Carronade Banshee on the right. Their opponents, we have the Strom Sunder, Watcha Stormbreaker, Gatling Light Flak, and Banshee. And their ally, the Snordstoop Bopstop, Lumberjack Judgment, with Minotaur on the right, Artemis Mercury, or light weapon, long range. Rounding out this Blue Judgment. Fancy Cloud Dancers have moved to center map here. I think we're going to be seeing finally a good old-fashioned sniping duel. We thought we had a Battle on the Dunes match earlier, but it had a lot of close range play. Finally here we have at least 3 ships with long range weapons. I think Strom Sunder has an Artemis? No, just a Banshee. Banshee Light Flak. So Strom Sunder has moved forward here. They're going to try to pick an opportunity. Once FCD has begun their long-range fight with the Snordstoop, Strom Sunder is going to find an opportunity to pick a target depending on which of the red ships has taken the most damage, and see if they can try to pick up an easy kill here while FCD doesn't expect it. And we'll see how much that works out. Judgment is spotted here, as well as the Gizmo Duck. Fancy Hydra is not. Lumberjack shots coming out. And this is not, I think that's the strategy Blue Team is going for, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. FCD, one of the most experienced teams in the game, and it's pretty, they know these maps inside and out. It's pretty tough to get the drop on them, but Strom Sunder going to try. Coming in low, under the cloud cover, you see already spotted. Ain't getting nothing past red team. And they're already moving back here in preparation to engage the Strom Sunder. Dual Gatlings coming in onto the Blue Stormbreaker. And I think they're going to have to disengage pretty quickly here. FCD already taking a bump as they try to drop down. And there's armor down on the Strom Sunder. And this is a bad positioning too, because Judgment just does not have good angles here to hit these red ships. And I do think Strom Sunder is going to be able to disengage behind the windmill. And in the meantime, Snordstoop has taken the opportunity to move forward a little bit to hopefully be able to maintain better angles on their targets. Lumberjack coming out. Might see a balloon pop on the Fancy Hydra. Lumberjack just rebuilt now, so it's only going to take one more shot if they can get in. Fancy Hydra's moving close. Moving in the close range here. They want to use the Gatling. They want to try to stay within the Lumberjack arming time, but I don't think it's working. Minotaur pushing the Fancy Hydra back. And Minotaur taken down by the Gizmo Duck's Artemis. Strom Sunder moving in. Watcha hitting the rear of the Fancy Hydra. 2 engines down. Gatling from the Gizmo Duck pushing them away. This is kind of a slow-paced match, surprisingly enough. Despite these fights taking place at pretty close quarters, there are so many Artemis disables that nobody is able to put in any sustained damage. Look how little permanent damage has been done. We're 4 minutes into the game. And Snordstoop, in particular, having a lot of difficulty keeping their components up in the face of the dual Artemis. And Minotaur's doing a good job, but there's the first armor break onto the Judgment. And 1 Artemis shot, 2 Artemis shots coming in, 30% permanent damage. Gizmo Duck still doing a good job keeping the Strom Sunder negated here. I think Fancy Hydra, if the Gizmo Duck can keep the Strom Sunder in check for the duration of this fight, Fancy Hydra is eventually just going to pick away at this Judgment's hull armor. Already down to 40% health. Strom Sunder needs to find a way to disengage from the Gizmo Duck. There's another armor break. And Strom Sunder taking a lot of damage as well. Wow. Just getting blown the heck up by the red Junker. Like, the pressure from FCD is just working very well here. And there goes the Judgment for the second point. Maybe just picking the wrong targets here. I'm not sure. You know, one would think that one of the advantages of bringing a Stormbreaker is that you're able to change targets very quickly. And so the Gizmoduck kind of got stranded. Gizmoduck was the positioning between the Junker and the Mobula on red team. They're a little split apart, so I feel like there should have been an opportunity there for the Stormbreaker to disengage, move forward to the Mobula. And the Mobula only need the Stormbreaker only needs to put a couple seconds of fire onto the Fancy Hydra, which would give Judgment enough time to repair its guns, and then they have a sweet dual focus. And we'll see where blue team decides to spawn FCD. There's a spawn point right here, and FCD is kind of camping it out to make sure there nothing sketchy is going on. This is the closest spawn to red side of the map for blue team. Instead, blue taking southern spawn here, pretty safe. There's a lumberjack shot. So red team first spot going down. Skyborne Z definitely knows where their opponents are. Stromsunder once again taking this low position here. Let's see if they can close the distance. Utilize their very powerful close range weapons. And Gizmoduck already they're aware of what Stromsunder's strategy is. So they're kind of hanging back. They're making sure that the Stormbreaker tries to flank the Mobula. Gizmoduck, they can engage immediately. But Stromsunder, realizing this, saves the Hwacha for the Junker. Gizmoduck heavily disabled here, and here's the dual focus onto the Fancy Hydra. This is what they wanted to do last fight. And Gatling coming out, they're not able to take down the armor of the Mobula before Gizmoduck's able to rebuild their own guns. And now Stromsunder's the focus of some fire here, losing 2 engines and their armor. Judgment still heavily disabled. Rising up. We're going to see some Minotaur shots on the Mobula here in a second. But it's just not enough damage output. They're just kind of... The Fancy Hydra, it's bouncing them around. I'm sure it's a little annoying, but they're just kind of ignoring it. And, ooh. Stromsunder's too far back. This is going to be it for the Judgment. I'm fairly certain. Armor's down. Artemis coming in. Gizmoduck is a little low to use their own Artemis, instead opting to keep the Stromsunder at bay. But I think Fancy Hydra, even by themselves, will be able to pick up this third kill onto the Judgment. We got 3 people on the whole armor here, trying to tank through it, but it's not enough. The 4th armor break finally does the Judgment in, and Stromsunder, unfortunately, heavily damaged from the fight. FCD, look how little damage FCD has taken. It's... Judgment, maybe the Judgment is again a liability here. The Spire, earlier in the tournament, Spire did not work well for Skyborne Z, so they switched out the Spire for Judgment, but the Judgment's still just getting disabled so quickly that it's kind of a non-factor in these matches. And some Stormbreaker maneuvers here. Good Hwacha from behind. They're doing their best to try to stay in this fight. It looks like they don't want to disengage. They want to wait for their ally Judgment to spawn back in. There's that close spawn. And Gizmoduck's balloon very low. One more hit from the Lumberjack will take down Gizmoduck's balloon, which unfortunately would drop them directly onto the Stormbreaker's position, and Stormbreaker, with only a sliver of health here, has to play this extremely safe if they don't want to abandon their ally. Now, armor and balloon on Fancy Hydra are down. Stromsunder rising up. Are we getting a Hwacha? Ooh, just armor just in the nick of time. Only about 20% damage connecting onto the Mobula, and now Gizmoduck's moving in. Gatling engaged on the Stormbreaker. Light flax on the Fancy Hydra. Is Fancy Hydra going to go down? No! The Gatling finishes off the Stromsunder. I think that was their one opportunity to take this game back. Although here comes, good Lumberjack shots. So Snortstoop is able to pick up the kill. So we finally have a point on the board for Skyborne Z. But we've seen this before. Judgment by themselves against any ship that's more mobile is going to be tough. Minotaur are doing a good job. I assume they're using... how does this ship work? Yeah, using gunner arcs. Increased gunner arcs to hit the Gizmo Duck, preventing him from actually strafing them. And now Gizmo Duck runs straight into a Watcha from Stromsunder. Not doing a whole lot of damage, but the balloon is low from the lumberjack fire, and it's burning, so I think balloon will be down here in just a moment. Mobula has spawned in. They're a little far away. Is Stromsunder going to be able to pick up this kill here and potentially turn the tide of the game? Judgment's very slowly moving into position. At the same time, this is a race. The allies are racing to get back into this fight. Snortstoop firing on the Gizmo Duck, taking down the balloon and the armor. The Fancy Hydra is in as well, focusing on the blue Stormbreaker. The problem here is that Gizmo Duck falls down. Judgment can no longer hit them. So they're kind of relying on the Stromsunder, I think, to finish them off. And because of that, we're seeing a target switch from Skyborne Z. They're moving in on the Fancy Hydra, realizing Gizmo Duck, without its balloon, Junker does not do a very good job firing upwards. So if blue team can maintain this high position, Gizmo Duck is going to take at least another 4 or 5 seconds to get back into the fight. And this is a chance for them to pick up a kill on the Fancy Hydra. Gatling coming out, armor going to go down, light flax coming in, not hitting Snortstoop, keeping the Gizmo Duck locked down with the lumberjack. Next armor break here, where the light flax going to be. Stromsunder having to respect the Gizmo Duck a little bit. And oh, Watcha taking down everything on the red Junker. This is a scuffle. Now Gizmo Duck's lost their armor. Balloon again, they're light flax. I think one light flax, two light flax maybe hitting on the red Junker. Switching focus back to the Fancy Hydra. Let's see a kill here, guys. Armor's down, balloon is down, Minotaur is hitting, Watch is hitting, huge damage! Finally, Fancy Hydra dead, and we have another advantage situation. Armor's down on Judgment, but Judgment has a lot of health, so that's not a big deal. Gizmo Duck needs to find an opportunity to escape here, and they're facing down a Watcha, Lumberjack, and Minotaur, so escape is not going to be that easy. Already losing 2 engines, balloon, burning, half health. Yeah, I think Stormbreaker's going to be able to pick up this kill. Yeah, Watcha, big damage. And Junker goes down, now 4-3. What looked like one-sided match suddenly coming back in. Fancy Hydra spawns far away, but within sight of Skyborne Z. So their position is known. And it looks like Fancy Hydra is going to be moving southward here. Blue team does need to be a little bit careful. There's a possibility... There's a spawn right here for red, so if blue team moves past the spawn point, there's a possibility that Gizmo Duck can spawn behind. But he chooses not to do that, because that is a risky play. Junker is kind of a slow charging ship, so potentially blue team would just be, if Gizmo Duck tried to go for a flank spawn, Skyborne Z would just kind of run past him and take out the Mobula. So instead, Gizmo spawning with the ally. Stromsunder moving in from the north here, as the Fancy Hydra and the Snortstoop duel it out at long range. Judgment's only going to last so long, because red team does have the extra 2 Artemis from the Gizmo Duck. Now here comes Gatling. Lesmont Gatling hitting the Fancy Hydra. Not going to break armor on the first volley. Watcha hitting the Junker. And Snortstoop doing a good job maintaining this long range fire. Fancy Hydra losing their balloon, forced to pop drogue shoot, stay in the air, and losing their Mercury gun arcs as well, which is very unfortunate. Instead, so they've been knocked down. They can no longer shoot the Judgment. They're going to switch fire to the Stromsunder, do something. But Stromsunder has great cover that he can utilize, and he's not going to be taking a lot of damage here. Ooh, I like this. Now, red team saying, hey, that's a good idea, we're going to use this cover too. They move forward. This lets them both push the Stormbreaker away, as well as zone out the shots from the Judgment. And I like this. Fancy Hydra rising up now. Mercury coming out. Let's see if we get some disables on the heavy weapons. of the Judgment. Not happening yet. Gizmoduck now moving forward, taking on the armor of the Snortstoop. One Artemis shot hitting. Is this what they mean when people say tilting at windmills? Is this... No? Okay. I haven't read Don Quixote. I've just heard that phrase. Stormsunder moving forward. Watch a barrage onto the Mobula. One Artemis goes down. Not a whole lot of damage. Gizmoduck Gatling immediately forces the Stormbreaker back. Judgment doing its best to try position itself so it can use its guns again. Get some good lumberjack shots. Stormsunder taking a lot of damage, actually, from the Artemis. Ooh, I gotta be careful there when your armor's down, friend. And Stormsunder potentially now neutered for the duration of this fight. FCD already has 4 points, so if the Stormbreaker dies, that's game over. They're going to be relying on the Snortstoop to take the rest of this damage. So he's going in super low. Where's the Hydra? When is the moment here to pass the hydrogen? Fancy Hydra is partially disabled. Oh, Stormbreaker is waiting for the balloon on the Mobula to go down. I see. So then he can rise up, meet him, and try to get a one-clip kill. Let's see if it works here. Gatling coming out. They're saving the Hwacha for the kill move, but already Artemis coming out from the Gizmoduck. Oh, no armor break just yet. This is bad news for Stormsunder. If they're unable to get a kill, they have no health. Armor at half. There's the armor on the Fancy Hydra. Where's the Hwacha? Light Flax coming out. Big damage on the Fancy Hydra. They're down to 30%. We need a kill here on the red Mobula. And here's the next armor break. Light Flax coming out. Fancy Hydra, they're still alive. Go to oh, they have so little health. And now Gizmoduck's coming in, kills the Stormbreaker. That was their one opportunity. It was within their grasp. If they had killed the Mobula there, I think 1 or 2 more Gatling shots would have killed them. Then it would have been a 2v1. Stormbreaker could have disengaged. Maybe survived the Gizmoduck, but unfortunately for them, did not work out. They did make it to the grand finals, but Fancy Cloud Dancers are going to be your SCS number 193 champions. Nice work.